What a good memory.
Hi, boys. I'm not sure what was most deficient last weekend, either the complete fake news of heavy 8 or slow 7 prediction for Randwick by Racing New South Wales track managers, or having to listen to Sky commentators on Saturday afternoon praising the miraculous recuperative powers of the Randwick course proper after being upgraded twice on race day. I'll apologise in advance for sounding like a suck, but it was refreshing to hear Mark's lone voice on Twitter antagonising New South Wales stewards on Thursday by suggesting how farcical the likely early wet track prediction for Randwick would be on Saturday. I had a very similar view, but constant noise everywhere in the media can be demanding at times. The hugely popular website Punters even put out a wet track form guide for the Everest on Thursday afternoon, suggesting that a damp track was a fait accompli. Putting that aside for one moment, there appears to be a lot of frustration in recent months about the bomb weather reports from punters most weeks. So I thought I would provide my own observations / form guide about the bomb predictions and how I handle their information quite comfortably over recent years. Firstly, I'd suggest punters replace the bomb words of minimum and maximum in regard to likely rainfall with the phrases expected and extreme. I'm guessing most punters, like I had previously, expected the rainfall amount to fall somewhere in the middle of what they describe as minimum and maximum on average, but my experience of that is very far from the truth. Is very far from the truth. From my observations, a better way of looking at their predictions is this. If they predict rainfall of 10 to 30, then I would suggest 10 millimetres, the minimum, the likely amount, is a 4 to 5 chance, 55%. B, somewhere in the middle of 10 to 30 millimetres is an 11 to 2 chance, 15%. C, 30 millimetres, the maximum, or over, is also an 11 to 2 chance, 15%. And D, no rainfall or much less than the minimum is also a 15% chance. While I have no data to prove this.
Let me jump in, Mark. I'm so impressed that he got 100% there and he got all those percentages right. I really enjoy that.
He is an old racing head, so you'd expect Kevin to get it right.
Okay.
Whilst I have no data to prove this assertion, as a rule of thumb, it has served me well for many years.
By the way, he hasn't given himself a margin of error so he can make a profit, guys. He should have had 108%.
He's not bookmaking on the race. He's trading a market.
I know.
The most important part to concentrate on is the minimum amount of rain as likely and ignore the extreme amount, the maximum, which seems to be the figure that the racing media focus on every time severe weather forecasts are predicted, even though zero rain on many occasions is just as likely as the maximum, the extreme. It's also important to note that while there are alternative weather sites available in Australia, most, if not all, use raw data provided by the BOM, and therefore they're just tweaking the same basic information and almost always providing only a slightly different point of view. As an alternative, I also view the Norwegian weather site, yr.no, which I have confirmed uses entirely separate data feeds from the BOM for their Australian weather predictions. I'm certainly not suggesting that their analysis is any more accurate than the BOM, but because they use different base data, they sometimes provide a very contrarian view of likely weather patterns. And while they often usually match what BOM predicts, there are plenty of instances where they are completely different. In these instances, it suggests to me that the 4 to 5 chance, the BOM minimum, might now be a 5 to 4 or even a 7 to 4 chance. That is, I now have a lower confidence level in the BOM prediction on these occasions, which can be an invaluable insight. Of course, even when the BOM is completely wrong, they are sometimes almost very right. The BOM will get criticised when a racecourse receives less than 1 millimetre of rain, while in the very next suburb they're drenched with the 20 mils of rain the BOM was predicting for the racecourse. That's a tough beat for the BOM. Whatever avenue you choose to research your weather predictions, I would suggest you put Twitter in last position. I've been alerted to many instances where a person on Twitter living very close to a racecourse is suggesting an avalanche of rain is pelting down, only to find out 12 hours later that less than a mil has fallen. There appears to be a constant race on Twitter for the first influencer to predict a likely heavy track the minute a nearby grey cloud rolls overhead. So I suggest punters view this information with the trepidation it deserves. Hope some of this information is helpful to fellow ranters.
Oh, God. So to all you new customers out there, we now look at the Norwegian weather pattern and we measure Robbie Dolan these from his left side to right side, trying to find a winner.